2022 Endurance E-Racing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriots, Azatec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Stengolm, ESTV and Film Vault Limited.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting GTR24H.org/VPN. Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. We are back after a break since the last round. We are here for round number 4 of the EEWC. We head over to Brazil, to the Autodromo. I practiced it in my head. I knew I got it wrong already. Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, otherwise known as Interlagos. My name is Chris Buxton. I'll be one of your commentators throughout this session. We are in practice and readiness for qualifying, which will be tomorrow evening. Now, for those new to the series, welcome aboard. We have a 2-hour practice session that we'll bring you the action of, just to see who has given this circuit some turns in the break we've had since last time around. We were at Sebring and the bumpy roads of America. So this time we head over to Brazil for this wonderful flowing circuit. And as you can see, we are practicing in the darkness now. Qualifying will be split into 2 sessions as mentioned. So first qualifying session will be done in the daylight hours, and the second session hosted in the nighttime hours, and the average of those 2 laps per team will be what defines the grid for tomorrow. from tomorrow, I should say, for the 12-hour race, which will take place on Saturday. So very much looking forward to that. Let us see who is doing what out there. We are looking at Angel Benegas. That is just working their way through. That looks like they've just gone through Mugello. Or have they? Now, this can be a tricky circuit to navigate in the daylight, let alone trying to figure out who's where in the darkness. So, no, I was incorrect to start with. That is a Mugello. They're now coming through Junshao. So, coming towards the end of the lap, currently at the top of the GTE tree. Coming up the hill, looks like one of the Audis that they are chasing. If that is indeed who I think it is, that is Nikolai Bezrikov directly ahead of him. In the Unison Racing car. That is the Dear SimLab car that has just come back into the pits. And that is a lovely aerial shot, just the way that the lights from the cars just stream through the wonderful scenic views that we have here at Brazil. Absolutely fantastic stuff. So, how does our championship stand up? We will have a look at those a little bit later on. There is the 45 DIS Sim Racing Lab Porsche. It currently sits in second position on the timing screen. So this is how the championship currently stands. This is our DPI class, the fastest of our cars. And it is currently led by the Burst Squad by quite some way. So as you can see, they've had the win in all 3 rounds thus far. Second is Unison on 48, so a bit of a gap, not insurmountable, but with only 3 rounds remaining, that's going to be a difficult task. So Burst could take the championship very, very early on if they have another good haul of points here in Brazil. Then it is Team Adrenaline, not too far behind the Unison squad. Again, they have been close to the podium, but not quite there just yet. And then it is the 7-9 Axle team, very, very close as well to the Adrenaline squad, with the Team Viaducting team that have struggled a bit. They missed Monza. We didn't see them on that occasion, but they've had a decent run, but need to pick up the pace a little bit if they wish to extend their position at the top of, or towards the top of the table. Our LMP2s, it's 9 Axle, but a reversal of fortune from their DPI class. They lead the way jointly with the Burst Esports Gooder Sunglasses car. So, as you can see, both teams with a single win behind them. And then you've got the Deuces Motorsport Club car in third position. Only 14 points behind, so not an insurmountable amount by any stretch. Then it's the Team Irish car, number 77 on 36. Then it is the Cyberlinks car, which we didn't see last time around at Sebring. And alas, the final car, the Team Irish car, the second of the Team Irish cars, we haven't seen. So we haven't seen since Monza, I should say. So the 77 is not doing too badly. The 7, sadly, has only had 1 single point score so far this season. Moving on then, let's have a look at our GTEs. Coming up onto the board now, and there it is. It's the Juices squad up top by quite a way. It's a similar story to what we've seen in the DPI class. 3 podiums, and 2 of them being the Big W with 74 points to their credit. Then second is the DIS Sim Racing Lab Porsche. As we can see, quite some distance behind, but then right hot on their heels is the Mugen Sim Racing number 67, shortly followed by the MCM Motorsport car, right with them as well. And then on 36 in 5th position is the 54 car, the MPE or the Mastari Pescara ADG car. And then it is Unison, so very, very short order in between the points between these positions, and then the ID Sinsport car. And then it's the second of the MPE Mastaro cars at the tail end of the GTE squads. And finally, GT3s. Let's bring up that table. And here it comes then. It is the Volante Racing by Aztec Sinsport squad with a very, very narrow lead. The CKR team had a really tricky start at Matsusaka. They really struggled there, but stormed through to a win in Monza and held on to a valiant third in Sebring last time around. Glam Racing in third position. Again, very, very close. This is such a hotly contested category, the GT3s. There's the B32 racing car in fourth, with the Mugensen Racing entry in fifth, with the DSR Gadget Huset car in the 777 in sixth, with the Teleforeningen, that's the name I really struggled to say last time out at Sebring. Hopefully I got that somewhere near correct. This time around at the tail end of the field. And oops! Oh, that's one way to introduce your car to the wall. Callum Wilson. That's the Glam Racing car that has dropped that one. Now that looked like that was coming down up from Jun Shao. Where did he drop that one? That's Jun Shao. So he's gone a little bit too wide there. It looks like he's gone too hot into Jun Shao. The car's gone a bit loose on him as he's tried to catch it, and into the wall he went. And that brought an end to that particular run. That is exactly what this session is for. It is for finding where the limit of adhesion is, and exactly how they can tune their setup. They can make whatever alterations they want. And in this session, we may well see more than one copy of the same car if we've got more than one driver of the same team out there on track. Is the only session we'll see that. As we switch to, or back to, that's one of our DPIs that is now starting to turn some wheels out there as well. Hopefully, joining us in the box, Yusuf Bin Zuhail is going to be on board with us for this practice session. As we go from here, Yusuf, are you with us?
I am indeed, Christian. Very good afternoon to yourself. Or
hello.
Good evening. Looking at the track, as you know, darkness is upon us. Headlights are lit. It makes for a very picturesque look on the circuit.
somewhat. Now, as we were just saying, this circuit has seen many classic racing. We've gone through the championship standings, as everybody saw. As now we see that is one of the best cars. That's Tom Olmeninger, the number 94 car, are currently lead LMP2 out of, well, one of them that is just doing the rounds. Now, have you raced in Interlagos before, Yusuf?
Not in the flesh. I've done a few races virtually, though, mainly on F1. I think I once on the iRacing platform had a go at Interlagos, but not on R-Factor 2, not on ACC. I don't believe the Sao Paulo circuit is on Assetto Corsa Limited on it yet. Not one of my most favoured circuits, as I get a weird voice crack. That's not happened in a while, so maybe a broadcast also first to happen. But no, it is a fun circuit. With quite a few undulations, very tough, very technical as well. A few low speed corners in that middle sector where it's very important to be able to find your traction coming out of said corners. And unlike a few of the other circuits we've had earlier this year, mainly thinking about Sebring, I feel like overtaking opportunities, especially when lapping some of the slower classes, will be a little bit tougher here in Brazil.
Could well be. I mean, this is a circuit that, unlike Sebring, that relies more on raw pace. Obviously, Sebring has enough twisty bits in it to need some attention paid to cornering efficiency. This is all about cornering efficiency. Whilst you'll be on the gas for quite a while from Jun Shao right the way back through to turn 1 before you come down through the center S's, it is all, or vast majority of the setup attention is going to be down to getting the car nice and stable and able to take these relentless assault of bends for 12 straight hours. Of course, no one driver will do all 12, and they're nutters if they decide to try, but well, some of these drivers would probably do so from what we've seen of them in the past. But yeah, this is a circuit that isn't for the faint-hearted. It is a tricky beast to get right for such an extended period of time.
And this circuit's a lot more akin to Matsusaka than it is to Monza and Sebring. You've got two real straights. You've got your start-finish straight, which is very long, coming all the way out of the final corner, all the way up the hill. And then you've got the run out of Curva do Sol down into turn 4, which I believe is Descida do Lago. I'm trying to remember Brazil corner names off the top of my head.
You'd be correct. Descida de Lago is indeed turn 4.
Lovely. We can figure out how many of these I actually remember later on. But you've got those two straights, and when you kind of compare it to Suzuka, very similar in that regard. Suzuka having 3 real straights that you can kind of overtake at. So Brazil maybe even less overtaking opportunities, but in terms of setup, kind of similar. You're looking at those higher downforce setups where it's quite important to be able to ride curbs here as well, because you look at some of those tight right-handers where you do want to be getting the car up onto those curbs, so having maybe a slightly softer suspension might be benefiting some of the teams like that.
True enough, middle make, as we were saying earlier, lapping cars, very, very interesting, particularly if they're going to get, and they're going to be caught during the twisty section of Sector 2 in particular, where everything is very hilly. The undulation change is huge here at Interlagos. Everywhere you look, there is an undulation change. There's very little that's actually flat. Probably the back straight is the only kind of flat bit anywhere to be found on this circuit. So drivers are going to have to be very patient as to when they make the moves, because they do that at the wrong time, especially in the dark, especially with a bit of fatigue kicking in, then it is going to be, it could potentially spell disaster. And if you do get onto that infield, into the grass area, you're a passenger. You're not stopping that thing, and that could careen you straight into the path of a number of cars. So I dare say that we're going to see a few incidents of that kind of nature as the race goes on.
Absolutely, and currently Tom Aldermenga at the top of the LMP2 class for Burst Esports with good sunglasses. Sadly though, I'm seeing Tom, he had his nice thumbnail, proposed thumbnail for the stream up next to his monitor. I think it was back at Monza he had that, but sadly not out this time around.
There's still time. He could be persuaded to do such things.
I might have to drop him a message in a short while and see if we can get it up. Maybe just get the old one from Monza up if he hasn't thrown it in the bin already. I'm seeing him laughing. I don't know if he's laughing about what we're saying on the stream or if he's having a chat with the other Burst Esports drivers.
I suspect it's the latter, but it would be nice if it was the former. As we switch to the DIS Sim Racing, or briefly to the DIS Sim Racing Porsche. Still the sole LMP car out there at the moment, Tom Aldermenga in the Burst Esports Good Sunglasses car. So this is where the kind of culmination of discussions and practice laps starts to come together. And for some teams, for some drivers, as Tom goes somewhat wide.
See, he tapped his headset as well, so he can definitely hear us. I think that's why he made the mistake. So we just need to keep on trying to put Tom off during his hot.
I'll leave that duty to you, Mr. Beardsley Hale. He can blame me for that one. Put me off the stride. I completely forgot what point I was going to make there. I'll come back to that one shortly.
Probably something racing.
Oh yes. Sure. This is where, for some drivers, this may be the first practice laps that they're actually throwing out there, but for others, it'll be the culmination of discussions and strategies and tactics and what have you to now start to really come together to make the ideal setup for the team. Obviously, no one setup favours some teams may favour one driver over another, but generally you'll try and find a compromise, some kind of balance in the setup that suits everybody as best as possible. So this is where that kind of compromise starts to come together, and we will start to see a bit of a pecking order. But again, this is practice, so this is where we'll see probably a number of incidents where people are just trying to find the edge of adhesion or try something different in the car, and whatever change they've just made has spat them off into the dust in turn one and things like that. So we'll see a few mishaps, no doubt, in the course of the practice session.
Yeah, still a long time to go. What is it? Are we talking about 2-hour practice session? I think we are already 20 minutes into it as well. So a while to go yet. I need to get the timings up on my second monitor so that I can double check exactly how everyone is looking here at Sao Paulo.
You carry on and do that whilst we continue to look at Tom Aldermenga bouncing around in the Burst Esports Good Sunglasses car, just catching a couple of cars so he can practice how to deal with that with traffic he's going to put a lap on. As there is the DAS Sim Racing lap car that's just gotten ahead, I think, of the Gadget Huset Corvette behind, working their way through. That is coming up into, I think that's Ferradura. Yes, it is. So we saw them coming through to see Largo, Ferradura and Lorangina. And there is Tom Almenega just getting his way past the traffic. Ideally caught, really, because that was on the run down to Deceit Largo. So he had a straight to which to deal with the two cars ahead of him. So, very nicely navigated for the number 94 car. As he starts to, continues to work his way, make his merry way through the lakes, the what were once lakes. And it looked like someone was doing a lighthouse impression there, because you suddenly had a lot of flashing lights in the place you shouldn't have done. So someone's gone for a bit of a spin. Are we going to see Callum Wilson, has he introduced the Glam Racing Audi into the wall again? That's not the first time he has, if that's the case. And like I say, we're only 20 minutes in. He's got another hour and a half to get the car. Yes. That's exactly. What did I say about catching the infield and then getting into the path of another car? Perfectly demonstrated there by Callum Wilson.
I guess Callum Wilson wanted to take his glam car out bowling, because that was definitely a strike. How he hit that one, I don't know. That was threading the eye of the needle to collect. I'm trying to work out which car that was. Was that a Mugen?
I wasn't certain. I couldn't quite tell.
I think it was Musto Pescara. I think it was the blue, black and red Musto Pescara, currently being piloted by Michael Francesconi. But no, it should be a decent session up ahead of us. We sadly just have the 1 or 2 LMP2 cars out on circuit, just the one. Bursty Sports, Good Sunglasses. We do have a few of the GTs and GT3s. Currently, the GT3 is being topped by the Ace Tech Sim Sport car, which I just want to double check where that car actually currently is in the championship. Fairly far down the order, so maybe a late resurgence from them in the championship.
And that's another thing, is that the drivers they field could feel more at home in a track like this that is more, kind of corner orientated than the wider open spaces, such as the likes of Monza and Sebring, as we see Tom Omaneng getting past. Oh, that's close. Getting past the Gadget Huset car again, as he catches the back of the DIS Sim Racing Lab Porsche. There is Michael Francesconi. I haven't had to say that name in a while, so it's good to be back in the box for another round of the EEWC. As we see, yellow flags are popping up. There's nothing really to pay too much heed to, unless someone's had an absolute storming effort into the wall. There is the DIS Sim Racing Lab Porsche again. And we still don't know who is behind the wheel of the Porker at any one given time, as he comes through turn 4 to Cecilia de Largo and then up the hill.
You know my trick with DIS Sim Racing, Chris. It's just always pretend Andy Kurtzen's at the wheel. That's about it. It could be Yannick Gottardson as well. Wait. I'm pretty sure it's Yannick Gottardson. It might. Maybe I've got the wrong surname. As you see my cat outside the window trying to climb up a beam and failing miserably, may I add. I've got a question for you, Chris.
Yes.
In the GT3 class, how many teams do you think have scored more than one podium this season?
Ooh. Quite a few. More than one podium.
More than one podium.
Probably only... No, I'm not sure that any of them have done more than one podium.
See, you're close, but it is 3. So CKR have had a first and a third. Then you've got Mugen Sim Racing, who have had a second and a third. And then finally you have Volante Racing by A6M Sports, who have had a first and a second. Weirdly enough, Volante Racing, who have had that first and a second, are languishing down in 6th place in the championship, because you're... Wait, hang on, never mind. For some reason, the ordering has been done wrong. So I've got the standings, but they are, instead of being arranged in points order, they are arranged in number order, which is a bit confusing. Either way, your 7 teams in the GT3 Championship are separated by just 20 points, which is not a lot. And it essentially means that we could see Volante losing the championship to the likes of Teleforeningen, who are at the bottom end, having just scored a highest finishing position of 5th this season.
Anything can happen. So it also depends if, to use your earlier analogy, if anybody else decides to go bowling through the course of the race, which is highly likely to do. And no one's going to banzai over the grass on purpose, as we're actually on board with the, believe that's the Gadget Husic car that we have jumped on board with, screaming over the line. It's right on board, actually, with this one, as we head towards turn 1. Over to the right-hand side, spot your braking point and get the car bouncing over the bumps. It is not a smooth circuit by any stretch. Down through the center S's and hugging that inside line. If it ends up being wet, that part is an absolute nightmare in particular. Now it's the long straight that heads down towards Descida de Largo. Again, spot the braking point, get the car settled in, kiss the apex, and start to then use the rumble strip on the outside line. Sweep through turn 5, that is otherwise unknown. Now start to rise through the hills once again. It's a very, very... This camera doesn't do credit to how steep that is. Ferradura and Larangina we've just gone through now. Again, apologies if I'm getting these completely wrong. It is highly, highly likely. Now, down the hill, Peronino is the bottom part of this, which is that apex there. They come back up the hill again, the Bica de Bato, the duck bill, over to the left, and again, sweep through, catch the apex on the right-hand side. Now, Mugello, so sweep through that. I won't pay too much heed to that unless the car's, I was going to say, gets unsteady, which is exactly what it did, right on cue. Now, Junshao, the junction. Kiss the apex on the left-hand side. You want to maximize the use of the rumble strip on the right to keep your speed as high as possible as you're on the gas for the longest period of time. Through the, what is called the subdue boxes, which no one really pays too much heed to because it's absolutely flat out. And that's over the line for, as I believe that's a Gadget Husic car. I can't actually tell from that particular shot. It's a great picture-in-picture there. That's a storming setup. Look at that. Wouldn't fit in my house, but it looks very dramatic as we cut to Callum Wilson in the 404 Clam Racing Audi out on track rather than in the ball.
So that one corner, Junção, I don't like calling it Junção. I like to call it the Kimi Räikkönen got lost corner. After Kimi Räikkönen had that escapade and went all the way to the end of the service row before having to spin it back round.
I can get back on hit as he suddenly found a closed gate. Yes, Kimi's remembered for many things, and that sadly is one of them.
Kimi, he's been around a long time, and once you've been around that long, there's a few things you can be remembered for, such as having your wheel fall off your car when you're leading with 1 lap to go at the Nürburgring.
That was in his McLaren days, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Arguably costing the championship as well.
Yes, I recall that one. Or ice creams in Malaysia would be another one.
Ice creams in Malaysia?
Yes.
How long ago was that?
That was, I'm fairly sure it was 2009, and because I'm fairly sure it was Braun's championship year, where the Malaysian Grand Prix was halted because
the rain
was just hopeless, and you basically saw Kimi Räikkönen out of the car, out of his racing suit, and you went and then saw him munching on an ice cream, because one thing Malaysia is hot and humid, even when it's absolutely chucking it down. So yes, that's another fond memory of Kimi.
I was trying to think, what other ones do I have? Him winning in a Lotus and then swearing on the podium about how bad his car was, along with Vettel a few moments after, which was absolutely brilliant. And then, of course,
I can't remember what year that was, but I do remember it.
Oh, I think it was when he was in Lotus, and it was Abu Dhabi. So it would have been one of Vettel's winning years.
Was it the year where they had that odd 2-prong nose thing going on?
There were some weird front noses that were going on during that era, and I can't remember which one. I reckon that was 2012. It might be 2013.
Oh God, was it that long ago? Feeling old now, Yusuf. Feeling old.
I'm feeling old as well about knowing some things, because I remember that Brawn race that you mentioned, the Malaysia 2009. Yeah, Malaysia 2009, being the first race that I really remember of having half points. Because I don't remember ever seeing half points before that. So I remember when they were flagged and talked about half points, I was watching the television thinking, what? Half points? That doesn't make any sense.
It's happened like 6 times through the course of F1 history. I used to be a very big F1 history anorak. If I remember, it's like half a dozen times, less than 10 times ever in the 1,000+ races that F1 has seen that we've had half points awarded because less than 75% of the race distance has been achieved. So it had happened before, but it's very, very rare.
We've had quite a few recently, because we had the 2009 Malaysia one, we had Spa last year.
Don't talk about
Spa last year.
No, we don't talk.
It was my boy George Russell's first podium, so I'm okay. And I feel like there was one more as well.
George should have won in the Mercedes.
Well, we all know that. However, I like to think I was actually very happy watching the race as a George fan. Weirdly enough, because that's a moment and a half for the A-Step car, and it does mean that we almost have a bit of a rear end moment.
He's just been shoving the Azatec since we're Saudi along. In case you want, it's Callum Wilson in the Glam Racing Audi we're watching on board. He's giving us a great. We're talking about F1 history, and the two Audis are having a right old argument. It doesn't give them anything. It just gives us a decent amount to talk about. Dear, I was going to say Callum Wilson getting a punch in the face there, but actually that sent the Azatec Sinsport car around. It's Kaspersky that's in that one at the moment. So riding on board, you can see in the picture, there's the main picture there. That as
what happened? I think
he
himself.
I think Kaspersky just understeered into Callum there, because there was a lot of room on the inside line.
I think Kaspersky, I think he lost the rear end mid corner. I think he had a wobble. I don't know if there was. We need to, we're going to get the full blown motion refill. Yes, we are. No, we can't see it quite. Was it?
There might have been a little touch actually beforehand from Wilson that just pitched Kaspersky to the left there. So, I mean, if you're going to have these issues, have them in practice, I suppose.
You know what?
Safer way of doing it.
I'm going to be honest, absolutely disgusting from the Glam Racing driver. £10,000 fine, docking 50 points in the championship. I think that'll be fair.
Brutal FIA steward going on here in the form of Milky Series.
Why you don't want me to race? You'll get to the final round of the season, everyone's going to be on negative points. No one's going to have any money left.
But you'll be a strangely wealthy man.
I will be, yeah. In fact, I'll be wealthy enough to have bought myself a drive in one of the teams and be plodding along in the final race.
Excellent stuff. But wearing the driver's kit you've just replaced, so I'll never know.
You know, what was it, Iron Man 2 or Iron Man 3, where Tony Stark rocks up in Monaco and just pulls out the driver out of an F1 car and jumps in as we get another incident, this time with one of the LMP2 cars having a bit of a contact with the GTs.
I expect that a fair amount of times as well. That was good timing as well. There was one of the GTE BMWs just hugging the inside line, seeing there was something coming. So are we going to see an argument between the LMPs?
Wait, hang on. I've got an idea. So Tom can hear us. Tom, give us a nod if your teammate was at fault for killing the GT car, and give us a shake if it was the GT car's fault. I'm going to keep my eyes.
We're going to have to give him a moment to answer that. We're actually seeing 2 burst cars here, which you can do in practice. You can have multiple cars of the same team out there at the same time, as mentioning earlier. And it's Pedersen. It's in the second one. No, shake of the head from Tom.
Okay. He's not selling out his teammate just yet. Well, we're going to have to wait for another incident to... See, I'm going to be honest. I prefer this method of interviewing drivers far more than actually bringing them in.
Just pestering them mid-race.
Just pestering.
Yeah.
And then waiting for the 20-second stream delay as well, of course.
Yeah. Oops! As we have a car into the wall. I don't think it was Pedersen that found the wall there. It's one of our cars did. That one is Pedersen chasing Tom.
The previous... Wait, who was the previous one, actually?
Actually,
Who did we see in the wall? There wasn't the Mustard Pescara car. I have no idea who that was. I don't think it was Ace Tech. And it wasn't my favourite liveried anime-themed Unison racing car of Alexander Zakharov or Nikolai Bezrikov. So it was an unknown car. There it is. Oh, beautiful car.
Yes, the Unison multicoloured Beamer, yes. Oh, there's the DIS car again.
So,
the back of.
Chris,
go on.
Would you like to know a fun little story that I had? Because my arch nemesis in racing is out on track right now. I'm trying to think, would you know who that is? So, it is it's good old Matthias Harvig or Matthias Harvig from oh my god, I can't remember the team name. DSR. There we go, the Nightmare team. So I've been racing with Matthias in another league in F3 cars effectively, and that bloody 14-year-old is so quick. I can't beat him in a single race. I come so close so many times, but every time he finishes first with me in second, and it is incredibly irritating. So, yes, I just want to put that one out there.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. It has been stated. The gauntlet is thrown down. See, I've always been used to being the old man ever since I started commentating 6 years ago. Bearing in mind I'm in my early 40s and I have children of my own. My eldest is not actually that much younger than Mr. Harvig is. We now have quite a few cars now on track, ready to do battle, which is good to see. I'm used to feeling very out of place. So it is one of these. Damien Scavron, good to see you back out in the burst. Oh goodness me, you've picked a interesting moment to come out when the track is very, very busy. But look forward to seeing how Damien can do the twists and turns of Interlagos.
This time Damien isn't involved in any incidents with the GT cars that may or may not be his fault. We still don't know on that. All we know is that two cars came together and the GT car went off into the grass. No, actually I had one of my recent races with Matthias. I was catching him up very quickly at Hungary, and then I bottled it. And I was in the grass facing the wrong direction with a few laps to go. Nothing to do with Matthias, I just bottled it myself. I was about a second behind as well at that point, so I was about to get in DRS range, and then I put a wheel on the grass. So I'm going to have to wait now for our next race, which is, I don't even know where our next race is. So yeah, going to have to practice a lot to finally beat him.
At this point, I'm afraid I have to leave you to it, Mr. Binsley-Hale, and leave our wonderful audience in your very, very capable hands, good sirs. I have other duties that sadly take me away from the wonders that is the EEWC practice. But, ladies and gentlemen, fear not, Mr. Binsley-Hale is a consummate professional and will talk you through the action as it unfolds. I will return for qualifying one tomorrow, so you poor souls get subjected to me for the remainder of our sessions. But for this evening, Mr. Binsley-Hale, over to you.
Thank you very much. A bit too high praise, and I think we'll commemorate Chris leaving by throwing to an ad break as well, so I can work out what I'm going to be talking about and torturing you guys with once we return.
2022 Endurance E-Racing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Azatec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Sten Goldman, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting GTR24H.org/VPN. Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Welcome back everyone to Sao Paulo for round 4 of the GTR Racing World Championship practice session. We are, well, usually we'd be half an hour through, but we had a slightly late ad break, so we are 45 minutes into our practice session, 1 hour and a quarter remaining. Peter, could we queue up the current standings of each classes, please? Wonderful. Actually, can the stream hear you, or do I have to pretend like I'm... Okay, so, I am crazy about it. I'm talking to myself. Either way, in the DPI class, Burst Esports Simplex, they currently lead the championship, having picked up 3 wins out of 3, and they've got themselves a very healthy advantage over Unison Racing, Team Adrenaline, Sem 9 Axel, and Viaductin completing the field. Moving on then to our LMP2 class. I'm going to guess it is still Burst leading. No, it's actually Sem 9 Axel. A win and 2 seconds for Sem 9. And Burst Esports are tied with a win, a second, and a third. So both teams with 3 podiums so far this season. Juicy Motorsport Club in third, a further 14 points behind. Then Team Iris, Cyberlinks Racing, and the other Team Iris at the back of the field. Oh yeah, I forgot there's 2 Team Iris cars. It's been a while, folks. Either way, moving on to our GTE class. It is the Deuces Motorsport Club who lead a win, a second, and a win, picking up pole and fastest lap in both of their races so far this season. They lead ahead of DIS Sim Racing Lab, followed by... Oh, is it not right? Never mind. Oh. Okay, well, it is Mugen Sim Racing who are in second, having picked up only 2 points last time out at Sebring, ahead of DIS, and then we move down to the likes of MCM Motorsport, Mustard Pescara Esports, Unison Racing, hashtag Best Livery, and then ID Sim Sport and the other Mustard Pescara team. And then finally, our GT3 class, being led by Volante Racing by Aztec Sim Sports on 51 points, just a few points ahead of CKR, the Brazilian team, having a poor start to the season, just 6 points, but found their form in Monza with a win. Glam Racing in third, ahead of B32 Racing. Mugen Sim Racing down in fifth. They've had quite a few issues, if I recall correctly. And then you've got the DSR GadgetHurst.dk and Teleforingen down in seventh. Just 20 points separating your 7 teams as well. And that, all of the teams, all covered. Which means we can go back to some of the racing that we have out on a circuit right now, as we see the Burst Esports, so good our sunglasses car of Damien Scoffron in that 94, hurtling it around, being closely followed by his teammate Tom Oldenlinger, who is, or was, quicker than Damien Scoffron, but is now a little bit slower, and we'll see whether he can jump ahead of his teammate and up to the top of the times. We've also got Cameron Roger on the circuit, which is the first time that I've seen Cameron on track, former commentator with us here at GTR24H. Maybe we can have a chat to him later as well, who knows. Speaking of Cameron, there he is. What is his time? Oh, he's a whole second off Tom and Damien. Tut, 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 Cameron, tut, tut. Disappointing. But no, we had Chris Buxton covering the show earlier on, who I'm sure was doing a far better job than me of keeping you all entertained. I still have to think of something that I can do, but something will come to my mind eventually. We've got the Deuces Motorsport Club, the 15 car is, I believe, out on circuit. Robert Bourne at the wheel, who will be putting in some laps, so we can see how close he is to the Burst Esports trio once he does eventually put in some lap times. At the moment, he is currently just in the garage there, so might have a while to wait, sadly, folks. I'm just trying to think, what can we talk about? Right, so, LMP2. 79 Axel, Burst Esports Goddard, tied currently on points. 79 Axel with that 1 win and 2 second places, but Burst Esports with 3 poles, 3 fastest laps as well. Also, just 3 poles, fastest laps don't matter. But it's that 1 third place from Sebring that is letting them down a bit. And we'll see whether they can... Yeah, for a second, Peter, I was getting very confused. I was thinking, how are they equal on points with that third? But then I realised that they have the 3 pole positions. So, poles have been something that is favouring Burst Esports so far this season. We'll see whether they can make it 4 poles from 4 tomorrow evening. Friday is our qualifying session, and then we will be having our 12-hour race on Saturday. And then the final 2 rounds of the season at Spa-Francorchamps and at Le Mans will be 24-hour races. Big spot for Damien Scoffron as he heads into the final corner of Junção, which apparently translates to junction in Portuguese. So there you go. Ooh, we got weather. Is that no weather? There is no weather. There has to be weather. There can't be no... What is no weather? Is that just a vacuum? Just nothing exists. Blue skies. So, if anyone has a bucket of water, make sure to head to the Interlagos circuit and start throwing it on the track. I don't know if R Factor 2 will register that and add it onto the circuit, but it's worth a try. But no, it's like we should have clear skies. I would presume for the entire race. I do believe Brazil is in the southern hemisphere. It is practically on the equator, right, Peter? Yeah, so they don't have seasons in Brazil. It's all summer. You know, something that always kind of throws me off with geography is how far south the equator line is. You've got, I would estimate, about 80% of the world population is north of the equator and south of the equator. Yeah. Yeah, it's... Yeah. Yeah, because you've got some South African countries, you've got most of South America, and Australia. And, yeah. And Antarctica, if anyone lives there. Yes. Yeah, everything else is just desert, so... Yeah, the entire population south of the equator is Brazil. Let's be real. Which isn't a lot. Oh, and actually you've got Indonesia as well. So that deserves a shout out. Indonesia. Most is... There's a bit that is above the equator. But it is right on the line. So yeah, there you go. Bit of geography to keep you all going. Oh yeah, so I'm talking to myself, as you might all be able to gather. Okay, in fairness, I do have our wonderful producer Peter Munkle in my ear, who is giving me information every now and then as we talk a little bit about geography. I'm trying to think, what other geography facts do I know? Nothing really. My geography knowledge is atrocious. Actually, Peter, we can play a game. Do you know how many different countries border with Brazil? I'm proud of myself for this question. This is a good one. Wrong. You've already got 2 wrong. Oh, wait, no. Argentina does. Paraguay and Uruguay do. Argentina barely, just a little bit does. Nope. Chile's just a thin strip on the western side. So, you have... Correct? Yes, that is one of them. Very good. Oh yeah. Okay, sorry. French Guiana. Colombia, yes. Paraguay does. Uruguay does. Yep. Argentina, yep, just touches it. You are indeed, yes. So you also have Libya, Peru, Venezuela, Guyana, and Suriname. And those are all of them. Chile and Ecuador are the only real South American countries that don't border with Brazil. And then everything else is all the Central American countries of Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Guatemala. So yeah. Right, boring history lesson done. Geography lesson is now complete, folks. We can move on to something else. I don't know if YouTube chat has any topics they would like us to discuss. We could also sit on board. I know just the person we should sit on board with, Peter. Do you know who I'm thinking of? I think we should be sitting on board with Mr. 94, Tom Oldenburger. Oh, actually, before we do that, I've just realized that Tom has put up his thumbnail that he would like us to use in the stream. If we could bring up Tom's camera, we can highlight the wonderfully designed GTR thumbnail that he has next to his PC, which I believe he did for Monza, and then he put, you might be able to see, he put a wonderful cross through it when we moved on from Monza in the championship to Sebring, and now he's put a cross through Sebring, and he's written Interlagos, or I can't actually, I think that's Interlagos, it might be Brazil, and I'm sure he'll then put a cross through that again once we get to Spa. So there you go, guys, the new, what could become the official GTR logo, or thumbnail I should say, for the YouTube stream. See, on that last lap as well, Tom put in the new fastest final sector of the practice session so far. Good job there, Tom. Very impressive stuff. Oh, are we on board with Tom Oldenburger? Perfect. Right. Okay. Time to critique his lap at every possible opportunity. So here we go then. On the run down into turn 1. Let's see if we can spot this braking zone. It's going to be very late. I think it was about 100, maybe actually 50 meters down into first gear, all the way up onto the curb. Very good. Oh, a bit of understeering into turn 2, but he doesn't go wide into turn 3. Cover de sol. There you can let the car all the way out. Enough when you'd be pressing a call button on your steering wheel that'll open up the rear flap DRS, but you don't have that here in the LMP2 cars. So instead, slow it down. Oh, I think you could have got a bit more curve. Bit of a twitch in the steering wheel, but that's sometimes good because it means that the car's, at the edge of its limit, and you're just making sure that it doesn't, you don't lose a back end or anything. Anyway, through this long right-hander, another little correction as we jump onto the brakes down into this tight right-hander. Very nice and neatly done. And then this is the most annoying corner in all of racing. Pinarino, you're just holding it at low speeds for ages, just waiting to get back onto the power. Then down into Pico de Pato, and honestly, Tom was so wide there I couldn't even see the apex. But then again, it is dark, there's no light, so he probably hit it and I just couldn't see the curbing. Anyway, into the final corner then, Jun Cao right up onto the curb, open up the steering as early as possible so you can get onto the power, and then make your way up the hill. Get a cheeky little toe as well off one of the GT cars up ahead, but try not to hit it, which Tom does a very good job of, and then use this pit entry line. You could hold it all the way tight when you're on your qualifying lap, but Tom's going for another lap after this, and he will complete this lap. Let's actually see what that lap time was from Tom Oldenburger, as I'm waiting for my timings to update. But good job, Tom. That was a solid 8.5 out of 10 lap. 21.957. Ooh, where did he lose his time? It was the middle sector. See, I knew it. I said that's where he missed the apex, and he did a 42.7. He went 0.8 slower than Damien in that sector. Okay, right. Let's go and distract someone else then. Oh, what is wrong with me? Deary me. Ooh, was that Damien? Was that Damien having a spin? Oh, is it Damien battling with GT cars again and coming off worse? Okay, this time he's with a Unison car. What does he do? No, he slots him behind for now. Is this live or is... This is live, right? Okay. Oh, Damien getting in the walls with... I mean, actually, I don't know. Maybe... I don't know. I don't know what has happened to Damien. By the way, here we're taking a look at Darius Andre in the 15 Uses Motorsport Club car. Yeah, LMP2 team that is currently sitting down in third in the championship. They've actually been able to pick up a win so far as well, back in Sebring. Had a slow start to the season as all. Why can't he do that when I'm racing with him? Then I could actually beat him for once. Matthias. But very easy to make that mistake, actually. You just put a wheel on the grass, back end snaps out. Or you can actually, I think, even do it under braking as well. If you've got your brake bias far enough to the rear, then your rears can knock when you jam with the brakes. One of the hardest, if not the hardest braking point on the circuit. I think the other one might be into turn 8, which is the first of the right hairpins, which is coming up after the double right-hander of, I believe this is Figueirino. I think it might be time to get the Brazil track map up. See, now you've just given me an idea, Peter, which is to rename all of the corners myself. Rename all of the corners. Yeah, think of something for all of the corners. So apparently it's, you got Senna S, then you've got Curva de Sol, you go down the Reta Opposta, down into the Cido del Lago, then you've got turn 6 and 7, the two right-handers of Ferradura and Larentina, then down into turn 8, which is unnamed, then you've got the Pinerino, and into Piquetapato, then you've got Mergullo, and then you have Juncao, and then you've got, oh my god, Nikolai, what was that? Can we get a replay of that, actually? On board as well. Okay. Oh, there it is. Spins around. Boink. Honestly, he flipped so many times he could go and work at McDonald's. Honestly, car was spinning around one way beautifully, and then it hits the wall and starts spinning around the other way at about 2 million miles an hour. I'll be surprised if he didn't. If he was in VR, I reckon he would have vomited from that. Genuinely. I'm just going to double check. Where is it? Mr. Racing Car in the Championship. Currently, not doing very well with 717 as Darius Andre pulls to a halt. That is down into Pinerino. Sorry, that's into the no-name. That's down into turn 8, actually. As we see Denis Sashenko. Denis Sashenko, another very quick driver. American driver, unlike what his name would suggest. Been performing very well lately as... Oh, that's Dennis. He's not performing well. Unless he's trying to cut the grass, then he's doing a very good job. Never mind, it's Callum Wilson, who's trying to play bowling once again. And this is Bezrukov and what happened into the pit. So he's coming into the pit lane. What happens here? He taps the wall. Back end spins out. We hit the wall and then spin back around and reset into the pits before anyone notices anything. But sadly, we did see it. So, sorry. Okay. And that is your tour of how not to take a pit entry with Nikolai Bezrukov. Oh my god. There's going to be people watching the stream, Peter, who are thinking that I am as high as a kite. Okay, so, right, let's run on board with Robert Horn. And I'm going to go about trying to name some of the corners on the circuit. We'll see what you guys on YouTube think of it. Perfect. Okay, so we're making our way into the final corner. So this is the Kimi Räikkönen lost corner. That's all that needs to be put in into this corner. Then Kimi got lost corner. Then we're making our way through the Max Verstappen epic save corner. Now we're making our way down into Lewis Hamilton lost race win because of Nico Hülkenberg kept W corner, which is down into turn 1. Now we make our way into Max Verstappen and Ocon Lowell corner. Then we go through Curva de Sol. We can keep that as Curva de Sol. That's fine. Now we're going to head down the hill into what was it? Montoya killed Jos Verstappen corner. No, it was the one where Jos Verstappen got killed when getting lapped by, I can't remember who it was. down into that corner. Then, okay, this corner I can't think of a name of just yet. This is the please let me get on the accelerator corner. Then we're getting into the LMAO Alex Albon no podium for you corner. Right, what else do we have? I mean, that's pretty much the entire circuit right there. What did Dennis do? Cars are not supposed to fly usually. Oh my god, Dennis! How did he manage that? What? Oh my god. That was... Oh great, we get another... Oh, poor Dennis, and then Callum Wilson having a moment with the rear before he enters into the no-name corner. I can't think of anything about that corner. Oh, perfect. Did he do it into the Max Verstappen epic save corner? Oh, okay. Yeah. Ah, okay. Okay, and then the straight we were obviously calling Ferraris killing each other straight. I'm trying to think of anything else famous. See, I think there was also a famous moment in Brazil in the wet where Webber had a big accident. Was it Webber or Alonso back in the Jaguar in like 2004, I want to say? I think that's what we can just call turn 3, the Curva do Senna. Curva do Senna. It's surprising that this circuit doesn't have a corner named after Ayrton Senna. That actually is very surprising to me. I guess... I think that's just called the S though. Oh no, it is called the Senna S. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So what corners do we have left to name? Turn 6 and 7, and Mergullo, I think. 10, 11, the penultimate corner, or the penultimate real corner in the dry. Anyway, this corner that Darius Andre is going through is turn 11, and I can't think of a name for turn 11 just yet. See, I've got one from a previous sim race that I was commentating on where someone's internet just went wonky and this guy's car just all of a sudden got spirited up by, you know, exorcism stuff into midair and was just spinning around for about 10 seconds before crashing back into the ground and destroying his front wing and a wheel and forcing him to retire from the race. But sadly, don't touch the inside curve corner. Which one's that? Ah, the penultimate corner. Oh. I can do that. I think we can do that. Don't touch the curb corner. Cameron Roger, though. Oh. Tom Oldenmega making his way into Jos Verstappen corner. Now, what? I swear there has been something that has happened here. Okay, so, I mean, the exit of Jos Verstappen corner is the how did Vettel still win the title corner. Very important that we distinguish between the entry and exits of certain corners here. What is wrong with you? What happened to Alessi? Oh no, who did he hit? Who did Alessi? Was it Tom? Oh, Unison. I think that Unison has a DPI car. I keep thinking, oh, you're a GT3 or GTE. But they are in the DPI class as well, currently second in the championship. A very large 32 points behind Best Esports in Complexity. Okay. Wait, Zen is for Unison, right? I think yes. Either way. Who do we have on our screens? It is frozen for me at the moment, I think, or being very stuttery, as we see Carl Lukagor. Yes, Tom Aldermega making his way into haha, Albon gets no podium corner, and then down into don't touch the curve corner, and into Kimi is lost corner. I need to actually draw this out, Peter. And was it that or was it here? Did he do a Max Verstappen but in the dry? Ah. How do you do that in the dry? Like, how do you lose the rear end there in the dry? Perfect. That's what I like to see. Oh, he went on the grass. Oh! Dennis, that is some skills. Ah. Imagine running with no ride height. Either way, we are past the 8 o'clock point. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into a commercial break. And then we'll be returning for another 45 minutes of practice, when by the end of that we're going to have our final standing. Sorry, that took me a while to formulate. But yes, stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.
The 2022 Endurance E-Racing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Sten Goldman, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting GTR24H.org/VPN. Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Welcome back, folks. We are into the second hour of practice, the final hour of practice for the fourth round of the Endurance E-Racing World Championship at GTR24H, and we are currently taking a look at Damian Skovron, who's now into the pits. We were earlier renaming all of the corners at Sao Paulo, I think very successfully as well, may I add, and maybe we'll go over those come the end of this session. But for now, Peter, I need to think of something new to talk about. Sparks. Oh yes, there are some cool sparks we're seeing from cars. Ooh, that is the Unison racing car, the DPI Unison racing car, leaving lots of nice sparks as it makes its way down the start-finish straight. Nice low fuel load, low ride height. Kind of similar to how in F1 they changed, I believe, the material that was being used as the skid block under the car so that there would be prettier sparks. See, now what they need to do in F1 is change the color of that magnesium so that whenever sparks are created, they're rainbow colored and they look even prettier. True. But wait for... yeah. Cause, as a chemist... Oh, Damien, no! Oh... So, for those who don't know, Damien just lost it coming out of the pits and crashed into the pit wall. It wasn't even at the very exit of the pits. It was through turn 1 of the pits. So, Damien, I'm very disappointed in that. Hopefully he doesn't do that in the race. You know, you've got to limit test in practice so that you learn all of the mistakes and you don't make them during the races. That's Denis Sashenko, who is parked on the exit of... No, sorry, he's parked on, how on earth did Vettel win the championship corner? Oh, Dennis, when you spin, you always press the brakes. Come on, Dennis, you're better than that. That's an even bigger rule than all the time you must leave space from Vettel or Alonso, whoever said that. And Dennis... Why wouldn't you press the... No, oh my... So about that £10,000 fine that I was talking about before, Peter, can we start handing those out? I don't have to cover them, I'm sending it to Dennis. I haven't seen Top Gun, so you can say anything and I'll believe you. Is that from the new Top Gun or like the original one? We don't have a huge amount of cars. Honestly, that Unison car that's coming into shot there, for some reason it feels like it's got police car lights in it. Maybe they're on qualifying fuel and Burst Esports are still on race fuel, potentially. Or maybe juices are just faster. That could also be it. Because the first sector is pretty much identical from juices and Burst Esports are both in the 19.6s. But that middle sector, half a second quicker for Darius Andre than even his teammate, and the final sector relatively even between the pair of them. So yeah, it's just that half a second separating them right now. What for the race? Okay. Right, let me take a look at the standings. DIS and Musto. I mean, they're not too close in the champion right now. Musto having had that second in the first race of the season, and after that they've just been on a big downward spiral. But we know that they are a very good team. We know that they have a lot of pace as well, a lot of quality drivers. So they should be able to pick things up soon enough. Whether they can catch up to the uses in the championship is another thing entirely. I reckon Musto can take a few races off juices. Maybe even Mugen. I don't think DIS can, because I think DIS, they're a decent team, but they're not a winning team. They'll just pick up pieces and get good points every round. Oh, Dennis. Okay, Dennis needs to stop spinning, right? Oh, someone else has spun on the exit of, or on the entry into, haha, Alex Albon's not getting a podium corner. Oh, and I forgot, Peter. I've got a name for the paddock area where the drivers finish. I think you know what it's going to be. It's, of course, going to be the Max, you're not allowed to touch Lewis's wing corner. Or just Max, stop touching Lewis's wing. I think, and that is the track completed. I don't know if anyone on YouTube knows of any good incidents that have happened into the double right hand. I can't think of anything. I think there was something where two drivers once went side by side through there, but I can't remember who that was right now. There was probably something. Oh, the tiredness already kicking in, Peter. Yeah, but it doesn't really happen through the double right-hander very often. So I'm trying to think if anyone's crashed there that I can think of, because that's usually what you can go for. But I can't think of anything. You could just call it S and send this corner. Maybe. Anyway, back to the racing. We're currently taking a look at Darius Andre as he makes his way down into Alex Albon isn't getting a podium corner. The haha. I'm just shortening them now. Yeah, true. But Angel Banegas making his way into the no-name corner right now. Still waiting for a name corner before heading down into, I forgot what we called that first right-hander. Damien Scoffron through on, oh my god, how did Vettel win the World Championship? Corner. And then up into this double right-hander that I still can't figure out a name for. Actually tries to go around the outside of Banegas, who then goes wide, so he cuts to the inside. Gets the job done quite nicely. I can't think of a name for the double right-hander and then the right-hand hairpin after that. I can't think of any F1 events that have happened there. don't know if your extensive F1 knowledge would come in handy here. This is a bit where I need to message Alex Goldschmidt, because I'm sure he'll know about 50 different incidents that happened there like 40 years ago or something. Yeah, probably. True. Peter said that if you ask Aidan Millwood, he would know as well what the driver ate for breakfast at the start of the day. Also, could mention we've got a cool piece of content that will eventually be coming. I know a lot of the drivers have been waiting for that to be released, so I do apologize that it hasn't come out yet. We've got a cool video where I've spoken to a few of the drivers. I've asked them some funny questions, and I've gotten some funny answers back, and that is being edited. About a third of the video got done 2 weeks after I recorded it all, and I just haven't edited any more of it, so I'll probably make sure that I get it finished for Le Mans, in time for Le Mans. I think that'll be my plan. There's some very fun moments in that. I'm trying to remember who I roasted. There's a few drivers there who get roasted somewhat. I know one of the Best Sports drivers do. I forget who it is though. Annoying me. I did have some fun with Andy Kurtzen as well, as that was Denis Schenko again, incredibly wide. Ooh, did Andy Kurtzen join? I'll be certain about that. Or are we speculating? Honestly, I think at this point, Denis Schenko would have had to retire from the entire race. Ooh. Yeah. And I don't think he's going to be able to race next year as well. The team's still in debt. He's had a lot of moments. Actually, that would be really fun to have a parts budget. That would be very fun. I can imagine a lot of teams getting frustrated when there are incidents that aren't their fault, or that they would claim aren't their fault, but they still have to pay. Honestly, though, I think motorsport could really do with whoever's at fault for an incident, you know, clearly at fault, not a close incident, has to pay the other team reparation costs or, you know, parts costs, because motorsport is expensive, and especially in some of the lower divisions, it costs so much money. And if someone's just being stupid and killing drivers for no reason, and then they have to pay, well, you know what I mean, like wrecking their races or going for really dumb moves that no one can argue, like that, for example. Tom puts his hand up saying, "What are you doing?" And Unison Racing saying, "I wanted to play bowling." Let's get a replay of that one, because I'm trying to think if Unison car just gets out of shape, or I don't know what on earth that was from Unison. They just, it's like their brakes stop working. I'm trying to think of another where could he have thought he was after the fast right-hander Alexander Zakharov. But there aren't any fast. Either way, I think that incident would be one where Alexander Zak would have to pay Burst Esports some money to repair their stricken car in that scenario. Yeah. I think places, some smaller racing series have tried to introduce something of the sort, but very difficult to do so. Anyway, it is time for a commercial break. Thank you, Peter. We have half an hour left, so we're going to be jumping into our final commercial break. And then we will be covering the final 30 minutes of practice, all the way to the end. If you have anything you'd like me to talk about in the final half an hour, let me know in the YouTube chat. Otherwise, we'll be back in a short bit. Stay tuned.
The 2022 Endurance E-Racing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Stengolm, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting GTR24H.org/VPN.
Welcome back, folks, to the Endurance E-Racing World Championship. Round 4 practice here at Sao Paulo, or some people might know it, Interlagos in Brazil. I think it's also got another name, Autodromo Herma... No, that's the Mexican sector. Either way, we've got 30 minutes remaining of our practice session. And I might as well run you guys through the current timings that we are seeing here. At the top of the standings, it is Darius Andre in the 15 Use Motorsport Club LMP2 car that tops the times with a 1:19.8, ahead of Damian Skovron with a 1:20.4. Then you got Robert Pawn in the 15 Use car with a 20.5, ahead of the other Burst Esports Good Sunglasses car of Tom Oldenmenger. As that will be coming up on the screen now. There you go. And Cameron Roger completing the field as the fastest commentator out on circuit, but sadly also the slowest driver. Anyway, moving on then to our DPI cars. We've got Denis Sashenko, the only DPI car out on tracks. He's not having a fun time right now. So we'll move on to our GTE class DIS Sim Racing lap at the top of the standings with 30.1. Oh, Cameron Rogers is going to kill me. Either way, second is Michael Francesconi, the Foster Pescara car with a 130.2. Then you've got the DIS Sim Racing lab car with no time. And then you've got the other DIS Sim Racing car with no time as well. So we could just ignore both of them and say it's DIS ahead of Master Pescara. Moving on to the GT3 class, actually faster than the GTE cars right now. A 129.3 for Eliseo Neto for Ace Sim Sport by Volante Racing, ahead of Callum Wilson. He's been playing a bit of bowling as well out on circuit. He's a couple of tennis shy of Eliseo. Then you've got Carl Lukagor in third with a 130.4 and Matthias Harvig in fourth with a 131.7. The latter two for DSR Gadget Huset. Used to be the DSR Nightmare team, but I think now they are just in the GT3 class. Although I'm going to double check this. Yeah, no more DSR Dream Team or DSR Nightmare in your LMP2 classes. Sadly. Big shame. They were quite fun to watch, especially because the Nightmare team would always do better than the Dream Team, so that was always a funny thing to talk about. I do see Carl Lukagor on his phone, not practicing. Terrible Carl, terrible. Needs to put in more time on circuit. Anyway, currently Carl has put in a very representative lap time of 30.4, just a few tenths shy of Glam Racing and Eliseo Neto. And to be honest, I think at this point most of the teams would have, or at least already kind of sorted out like their setups and all of that stuff. They've had a lot of time since the previous round at Sebring to start working on their setup here at Interlagos, and probably would have had their setups done and dusted a couple of weeks ago. So all that's left now is just put in some laps on the official server, get used to the server settings, temperature, and do some last practice at this point, really. But yeah, 20 minutes left in practice. Darius Andre still at the top of the standings. Damian Skovron is on a decent lap. He might be able to improve down to a 20.3. But let's see, as we're seeing a slow-mo of Callum Wilson into the Jos Verstappen corner. And then loses the rear... No, he doesn't lose the rear end. He just uses the... I think he does lose the rear. As Peter is your PC dying. So that's what happens to Callum Wilson. He goes wide. He goes wide, and he attempts to take the... So we haven't called the corner name this, but Callum Wilson attempted to take the Max Verstappen defending from Lewis Hamilton line through the corner. But he didn't have anyone he was defending from, so it's not very effective in this particular instance. Righto, here we have Tom Oldenmenger making his way down into Alex Albon isn't getting a podium corner, and then into don't touch the curb corner. And as you can see, Tom doesn't touch the corner because he understands the purpose of corner names. Makes his way through Kimi Räikkönen got lost corner, or Kimi got lost corner. Tom doesn't get lost though, and makes his way through Max Verstappen epic save kink and onto the start-finish straight. Ooh, did Tom improve on that lap? 21.1. No, not quite. Lost a few tenths in that final sector. His first sector was very good though, but not quite enough to beat his previous best lap time. Come on, Burst. You can't let Deuces beat you in practice. By the way, I am completely unbiased here. I would just like to add. I mean, Deuces win the last race. They are trailing in the championship by 14 points as they try to catch up to Burst Esports and 79 Axel. I remember 79 Axel because they made their debut in the Endurance Racing World Championship in GTR last year, where I think it was at Spa they made their first race and they DNF'd after the first lap. Then I think something similar happened at Le Mans as well, so we never really got to see them in action, but we knew they had some pace, and this year they are doing a very, very good job. Well, they're leading the championship at the end of the day, but they haven't got a pole yet, and that's something that 79 Axel need to work on. They're a very consistent team, as Cameron Roger. Oh, does he save it? No, he doesn't. And oh, he almost collects Damien Scovron there, I think. Cameron not going on the brakes. He tried to let his car roll off the circuit, and actually that's what happened. Cameron took the Max Verstappen defending from Lewis Hamilton line, but it was Cameron defending from Damien Scovron line this time, and Cameron Roger was facing. Oh, Peter, you deserve a medal for that. That camera angle is fantastic and truly highlights what an insane defensive line that was from Cameron Roger. Honestly, my favourite defensive drive of the season so far. Oh, really. What are we doing? Do we have anyone else doing lap times right now? We've got DIS Sim Racing Lab out on circuit. Right now, they are a 10th clear of Michael Francesconi for Musto Pescara 53. Are they improving, though? As this is Damien Scovron making his way through. Oh my god, I can't believe Vettel won the World Championship. Corner. Also, that straight that leads into this double right-hander, it always feels a lot narrower than it actually is. Whenever I drive on a sim game, it always feels like a very small valley. As Damien Scovron using up all of the curb on exit. I think I saw a set of headlights facing the wrong way as he makes his way up into Max Verstappen epic save corner. The 777, maybe he got a 777 as ratings as well from the judges for his spin onto the grass. I don't quite know. We'll just go with a yes. Can you tell, Peter, that I'm kind of floundering for stuff to talk about? I have a hat, Peter. Because I'm a king. I have a crown. I got this when I was in Belgium the other day. I went to a karting Genk and I went and saw a friend and we decided, you know, we'll go karting for a bit. Did a few laps. Went into the top 200, I think. Top 200 or top 300 of all-time laps at the circuit in my first time out there. And I didn't get a clean lap in because lots of traffic. So I could have made it into the top 100 quite easily. I mean, what can I say? I'm a talented guy. If anyone out there wants to take me on at karting, feel free to. It'll be your loss, though, not mine. Sorry, but it's the truth. No, I'm actually very good at karting, but I'm terrible at sim racing. I just can't get to grips with it. I don't know why. It's sad times. We still need to have our race as well, Peter. We've been hyping it up for years. Eventually, we'll go karting together. And I'll lose. And I'll look very silly. I'm too old for this. 40 minutes. So there's a 24-hour race in the UK at a track called Teesside Autodrome. And it's the home of the British 24 hours, and they have quite a few 24-hour races in there. But their karts will last 1.5 hour stints, so that's how long we do. And it's not a standard 1.5 hour stint speed because this circuit is a monster. I can't express it enough. It is the most difficult karting event in the world as far as I'm concerned. you've got a bump into a near flat out corner that is like on the limit flat out, so you've got to lift a bit going into it, and the bump literally makes your whole body slam into the side of the kart. I've seen people coming out of their stints bleeding on their side from like just how much abuse they have. Like everyone's hands are usually like covered in blisters. It's an incredibly demanding and physically taxing event. So yeah, your sides always end up hurting, and it's done in, you know, mid-June, one of the hottest weekends of the year. So it's an amazing event. I thoroughly recommend doing it, but be warned, it's a bit crazy. I know one team once tried to do the 24 hours as a 2-man unit, and they weren't the best of karters. Yeah, one of them was in hospital at the end of it. Yeah, it's not good. Then they had the British 24 hours, so it was more experienced drivers, and there was a 2-man team from Belgium who came, and they won it. Very talented duo. I think it was some father and son duo. So they did a very good job. And if you're good drivers, if you're very experienced at karting, you know how to kind of get around these events without killing yourself. And one of the weird things I've actually found with those events is, if you do all of your stints together, you don't feel the pain. It's only once you get out of the kart and you have 10-15 minutes to kind of sit down that you start to feel the pain and just how sore you are. So if you do like 2 1.5-hour stints, I think that is probably better than doing your 1.5-hour stints separate from each other. To be honest, I've had, so on the British University 24 hours that we did this year, I did 3 stints. So I did the first stint, I did a stint around midnight, and then I did the final stint. In the final stint, I was dead, and it was just kind of willpower that was keeping me going, and I just felt my arms so tired, and I was still setting quick laps. And a big thanks to my teammate, I think it was Tom Dent at the time, he was on the radio to me. So he was on the radio to me, and he just was able to keep me going. And it's one of the times that I've really felt racing to me has been able to help. But we can see on our screen driver lineups for different teams. So right now we've got Glam Racing up on the screen, that wonderfully glamorous purple livery car, which is Henrik Hoyer, Callum Wilson, and I forgot the other names. Do the magic thing again, Peter. I think it's Gert Nielsen, Henrik Hoyer, Callum Wilson. Who's the other one? Oh, Jakub Kowalski. Lee Russell and Jeff Van Island. Oh wait, who's Gert Nielsen with it? Is he ID Simsport or Telfer? ID Simsport. I was close. At least it was another Danish drive, right? I got the right nationality. A C-Sports team. Rasmus Andreasen. And it's gone. Okay, we've got uses. We have Sabakis, we've got Stein Prinz, Darius Andre, oh my god, it's too blurry for me to make out. Robert Porn, and who? Dallas Farrow. I have not seen that name before. I'm pretty sure I don't remember. No, Robert. On the black stuff. But maybe if he puts enough rubber down on the grass, he can make it black. Because come on, Roger. Oof. He just goes straight back to the pits. Doesn't even want to try to save that one. Oh. Who do we have then coming out pits? That is one of the GT cars. That is Michael Francesconi in the Mustard Pescara car. We've got 9 minutes remaining in practice, which means that our teams are going to be blasting it for some laps. Eros Masculi Eros Masciuli, David Greco, Michele D'Alessandro, Michael Francesconi, and I can't see the final name. Is it Ricardo Pera for Master Pescara, the 53 car that is currently at the top of the times by a very, very large 9/10 of the DISM racing lap, as the GTEs go back ahead of the GT3. So, I mean, that's the thing with practice. You never really know what pace you're seeing. You don't know if everyone's doing their practice runs or if they're doing qualifying runs and all that kind of stuff. And while in practice we can see pretty much every driver out on the circuit, in qualifying you'll only have one driver per team out on circuit at a given time, as this is the Acetec SimSport by Volante racing car, or Volante by Acetec SimSport car, which is Alicia Neto. I can't read any of the other names, it's too blurry for me. I think it's Niels Hovingen, one of the drivers. Spotter, yeah. Let me get the spotter guide up then. Who do we have? What am I looking for? I'm looking for Acetec SimSports. Niels Hugavin, Mashi Kashpashek, Alexander Sesha, and Daniel Krasner. There you go. They're currently leading, actually, in your GT3 Championship as well as the 585 car. As Alicia Neto is making his way through the don't touch the curb corner. And BIS, Andy Curtin, Yannick Gottardson, and Mikkel. I'm going to have to go back to the spotter guide. Lintoff. I got there in the end. Yeah, honestly, I'm proud of myself for some of my Danish knowledge, because now every time I see people saying God at the end of a name, I'm like, no, it's a Gore. Haha, see, I know things. Yeah, that's about the extent of my Danish knowledge. Don't know. So I know with Carl, it's Carl Lukagård. It's not Leica. Also, is it Matthias Havig or Matthias Havig, Peter? Matthias Harvey. Harvey. Okay, I did not know that. I will... Yes, I'm going to have to do that for the next time I do my highlight videos of my races with Matthias. Is he not? Oh. Maybe he's just filling in, getting in some practice for now. Okay. Bad Matthias. Oh yeah, true. A lot of things to learn. We've got 5 minutes then remaining in qualifying. I am just double checking the times to see if there have been any improvements. I think Tom Oldenmenger is out on circuit. No, he's back into the pits. I should have noticed that because I think he did just start typing. I have a message from Maria. Yes, Maria. Peter is being silent. Peter is being a silent person. He's trying to make me look as crazy as possible. Oh, dear. No, he isn't. He's constantly feeding the information about things like geography, like we were doing with how many countries border Brazil. Turns out all of South America, with the exception of 2 countries, border with Brazil, which is Chile and Bolivia? I can't remember now. I know it was Chile. Chile and Ecuador. There we go. Chile and Ecuador. The only 2. Ecuador? What's that from? Oh. I have never heard of that group before. But then again, I've not heard of most music groups. It's jazz. Sass. What's that? Oh, Sass is the band name. Ah. There you go. A bit of music knowledge. The band called Sass. Yeah, the band called Sass did the music song Ecuador. What it sounds like, I have no idea. Maybe we can play that as a song when the stream ends, without getting. It sounds. Oh, who was it who did the song? It's like Kiki or something. It was what's her name? Shakira. She did like the World Cup song for South Africa, I think. I think that was okay. From what I remember. I don't really yeah. Oh yeah, we've got the World Cup later on this year in Qatar, which is going to be in winter. Still going to be boiling hot though. Pretty sure. Didn't they like make all of the stadiums air conditioned or something? It's going to be fun to see, I guess. I don't know. Indoor stadiums. There we go. I'm sure they'll probably still be boiling. Actually, to be fair, I've been to the Middle East once, and when I was there, it was summer. Well, I mean, it's always summer in the Middle East, but it was summertime even for the Middle East. And I got a cold while I was there, as we are seeing Mashi Kasperschik, then going wide. Oh my god. See, now, if that happened to Vettel, he definitely wouldn't have won the championship from that position. So, have you had any updates then in the time standings? No, we have not just yet. Tom Oldeming has found a little bit of extra time actually in the middle sector. If he puts his lap together, he might be able to close in onto Robert Pawn, but a bit of a gap. Actually, Tom needs to be careful because otherwise Cameron Rogers is going to be going faster than him, and then Tom's going to be the slowest burst esport driver out on circuit, which... Oh, has he got enough time for one more lap? I don't think he does. We are at the hour. We'll give Tom one more lap then before we end the stream, so he can prove himself. Michael Francesconi has improved even further, 128.7 in the GTE class. DIS on that 130.1, so they're a further second down. Alicia Neto at the top of the Ace Tech standings by 4/10 over Jakub Kuba-Kowalski for the 404 car. Matthias Hyvie with a 130.2 in the 777 car. Actually, he has gone faster than his teammate Carl Lukagor now by a tenth of a second. Okay, my timing is a little bit slow, I fear. But he is practically dead even with what Darius Andre has done. He needs to be able to match a 41.4. So effectively finding 3/10 over his personal best in that middle sector, which is where he's losing most of his time to Darius Andre as he heads into the final corner. Will he get in traffic? He will. I don't think he's got a good exit though. I think he's going to lose a lot of time on the exit from the Volante car that was in front of him. I think that was a Volante car. Either way, across the line then for Damien Scovron, final sector. Not quick, 20.13 tenths off Darius Andre. Also, Tom Aldermenger did improve. He lost a tenth in the first sector, so he is 6 tenths down on Damien Scovron and 3 tenths down on Robert Pawn. Right now, Deuce is looking very good for qualifying tomorrow and indeed for the race on Saturday. But Peter, I do believe it is time for us to close the show, unless I am missing something. So, folks, with that, we are going to be bringing the stream to a close. However, make sure you tune in tomorrow because we have 2 qualifying sessions. For those of you new to the Endurance Racing World Championship, the best qualifying sessions or best qualifying times from each teams from each session is combined, and then the quickest overall time or the quickest average time is used to determine the grid position for the race tomorrow. What time is our first qualifying session starting tomorrow, Peter? Is it 7 p.m. European time, so that's 6 p.m. if you are, like me, living in the UK. But for myself, from Peter, and from all of our drivers as well, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.
The 2022 Endurance E-Racing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Stengolm, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting GTR24H.org/VPN. Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon-neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.